Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Parlay Revival. If you remember in last episode, we got hit with horrible weather and had to completely change plans and sail to the Cook Islands, which we initially had no intention of visiting. So we didn't really know much about the place, so we entered the crazy narrow pass with caution. But everything turned pear-shaped when our buddy boat ended up on a reef in the middle of the channel. So I'm Colin, and this is the crew of Parlay Revival. From hurricane damaged, to broken bulkheads, and getting struck by lightning not once but twice, to being the strongest and fastest Lagoon 450 on the planet. We are now sailing 5,000 miles from Mexico to New Zealand, my home, before continuing our circumnavigation. So subscribe to follow our journey around this beautiful planet. 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did. So what are you waiting for?
We made it! So we've decided to pull into Aitutaki. It's one of the Cook Islands. Looks absolutely stunning in the photos, but just got really stormy conditions.
Loving the weather. If I'm gonna sail, I'm gonna be in the action.
So it was 6:30 in the morning and the visibility was absolutely horrible. So we dropped anchor outside of the channel to wait for the conditions to clear up before we attempted to go in the narrow cut in the reef.
So we're going to put up what's called the Q flag. It's a little yellow flag, and that lets customs and immigration know that we are not cleared in. We surrender!
So we waited a couple of hours until the sun was a little higher in the sky and slowly crept up towards the pass. It was so narrow and there was about a 3-knot current coming out of it. It's crazy how quickly our plans change out here. Yesterday we were heading for Beverage Reef, which was actually another 3 days sail past the Cook Islands. And here we are today, finding ourselves heading up a tiny little channel in a foreign country we knew very little about. Still, I did think this was a better option than sailing in 30 plus knots of wind for the next few days, so I was happy with the decision. So we carefully navigated our way into the harbour, which was going to be an extremely tight squeeze for us and our buddy boat to anchor in. We had gotten a hold of the harbour master, who had assured us that there was plenty of space for both of us and plenty of depth in the channel, which turned out to be untrue on all fronts.
Okay, here we are, we're anchored in the middle of a marina. 3 other boats, there's our friend Luca over there. I think we'll take shelter here for a couple of days. Nice and calm, absolutely perfectly flat in here with a break wall.
We literally just put this bucket out 3 minutes ago and it's almost full.
It just started pouring down and Luca was almost swung round into the dirt. We were anchored so close to each other as well. This is a bit hectic in here. You okay?
So because Luca's boat was so big, there wasn't really enough swinging room for him on anchor in the harbour. So he decided he would head out the channel and anchor outside the reef. He was barely out of the harbour when all of a sudden, he ran aground on the reef. A dive boat with big outboards happened to be coming in, and even he couldn't tow Luca off the reef. He was well and truly run aground, so we threw out a stern anchor and some lines to shore, and we would have to wait for the high tide.
Old run aground, 54-foot yacht. There's just no space in here for him. So we decided to go back out the pass and he's run aground. We were like, took the halyard and we were leaning the boat over, but it's stuck. So Luca draws 2.4 meters, and it's actually a little bit misguided what the harbour master said, because he said the whole channel at high tide was 3 meters. So it's definitely not that. And then there's a Danish boat behind us here, and they got stuck coming in. They draw 2.4 meters as well. And they said the week before someone else got stuck. So they need to really take care of that section of this channel here because everyone's getting stuck. It's one of the beauties of having a catamaran with a shallow draft is not really an issue for us, but these big guys, yeah, no good. He's still got to get out the channel and anchor on the outside of the reef. So there's absolutely no way anybody should be doing this channel in the dark without seeing where the edges of the reef are. So we're fighting the clock here. Got to get him off soon so that he doesn't have to go out the channel in the dark.
Another boat got stuck on the way out the other day, and the excavator actually pulled him along to get over the little hump what Luke is stuck on. So it's very unfortunate that it's a Sunday here, and Sundays are more or less everything shut, no one works. It's like a family day. So
Luca had a portable depth sounder on board, so we used it to see in what direction the deeper water was. The tides are pretty minimal in the Cook Islands, but we were already at high tide, so we had to get Luca off the reef now.
5 meters here.
Or he would be stuck there overnight. His keel was stuck on a big bommy in the middle of the channel that the excavators hadn't got round to removing just yet. We pushed and pushed trying to get his keel into deeper water. We skewed the boat back and forth, and eventually got him free for a second, only for him to run aground again on another spot. It felt as though we were starting to be in serious trouble here, and the current and wind was also sending Luca's boat in all different directions. We did our very best to try and keep him in the deepest part of the channel. There was a moment when it looked like he was gonna make it out, only to have him smash into another reef, jolting the whole boat as it ran aground. His boat then got spun sideways in the channel, leaving him with absolutely no control. So I pushed his bow around and he eventually managed to get into deep enough water to head back into the harbour.
It's amazing the shit we're seeing.
All right, here he goes. He's gonna make his attempt to dock finally. I'm rooting for him, man. I feel horrible that this has happened. You know, we came to this anchorage to rest, and he ends up in this situation.
Perfect.
Because the anchorage was full, the only place we could put him was alongside a barge. I would have given him my spot, but it was too shallow where we were. But it was a huge relief to have him off the reef and safely tied up. But I couldn't help wondering how he was ever going to get out of that channel if he couldn't do it now on the high tide.
Did it, huh?
Thank you, Colin. Thank you all.
That was wild. That was wild. It's solid. It's like a reef or a rock down there. We got him off, and then he tried to sneak down the side of it, but there must be another bommy or something, and he just smashed into it, came back, had one more go, and just plowed into a different one, and it spun the boat sideways. And then so we pushed the boat around and he managed to come back into the marina. So luckily one of the local guys, by the way, the local guys have been so friendly, said that he could tie up to the barge over there. So he's tied up, he's safe, he's kind of shaken up. It's been a bit of an ordeal for him, but at least the boat's in a safe place now. That was wild.
it was crazy. I thought there was a couple of times that we're going to lose the boat, especially out there when he hit that last one. I was like, this is it.
Unlike a little bit of this kind of, because I work for a salvage company in the BVIs, Husky Salvage, so we were always doing like stuff like this every day. So I just learned so much, and the skills that I got from there have just paid off so often. Just where to push and how hard to push. You can save a boat. I knew if I pushed his bow and he kicked ahead, at least that would get him away instead of just pushing the stern. It's just kind of knowing what the wind does to a boat. But yeah, it was crisis averted. Hey, Luca has invited us over for dinner. He's got lobster pasta made by a proper Italian, which I'm pretty excited about. I guess it's a gesture of thank you for helping him out today. What's the secret? You don't cook the pasta completely.
No. The pasta is not finally cooked. I terminate to cooking the pasta in the sauce.
In the sauce.
Yeah. Not like a catamaran.
Wow, look.
So nice.
Not like a catamaran. But
You do star jumps in here.
yeah, it's good. It's good the pasta. Yes, buonissima.
Bellissima.
Bellissima pasta.
Okay, we've just had an amazing lobster dinner. Now we have had some time to digest the food, but digest what happened. How are you feeling about everything when you think back on it?
We have eaten, and it's not possible go back. Not possible go straight on.
Yeah.
Not possible to move.
You were stuck.
Yes. In the middle of the channel. So the problem is in your right side you have the reef. In the left side you have the sand. It's so complicated.
But again, we were told that there was they actually said 4 or 5 meters of depth to go. So when you're going out, I didn't even think
No,
I was like, okay, so he's gonna go outside. It was
it's
like,
easy,
okay.
easy, easy.
It was a big eye opener, especially for me. I've never seen anything like that.
Don almost fell in the water, but he recovered. That was the greatest recovery of the day.
Yeah. Okay, now wait a minute. Yeah. And I'm glad that I entertained these guys so much because they have really had a good time with this.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Did you know?
Morning guys, so got a radio call from one of the boats in the anchorage here, narrator. She is, her name's Jeanne, and she's an 80-year-old, I think around 80, solo sailor. But now she's got an issue with her engine that she can't figure out. So she's asked me to come have a look. Let me introduce Jeanne Socrates.
Now to a story about a 76-year-old woman's epic journey around the world.
The 76-year-old wants to be the oldest person to sail around the world on her own.
She is one of only 6 sailors in the world to be inducted into the Cape Horn Hall of Fame. She is the oldest person to ever complete a solo non-stop circumnavigation around the 5 Great Capes, and has a list of other world records and achievements that put us mere mortals to shame.
So, Jeanne, you've sailed around the world 4 times.
Yeah, 4.5.
How many miles do you think you've sailed?
Oh, about 170,000. I mean, each time around is 28,000 or so.
Yeah.
25 to 28.
And have you got any plans to slow down, or are you just going to keep going?
Well, I'm slowing down now because I'm cruising. I'm
Yeah.
not going around because I've got 2 non-stop rounds. I've got the world record for the oldest person to go around the 5 Great Capes, non-stop, solo unassisted.
Really?
Yeah.
World record?
Yeah. And
That's
I mean, the Guinness
incredible.
Book of Records was the oldest woman to go around, which is the lesser.
And how old were you when you did that?
Last one, I finished in 2019, just after my 77th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this big bracket here, which is holding this high output alternator. How many amps is that?
130.
130 amps.
Yeah.
And it all kind of came loose, and we just found the problem with it was loose. It was rubbing through the coolant hose here. So I'm glad we spotted that. We can cut that and reconnect that. And then this plate, which goes behind that bracket, had completely come loose, fallen down, and so that's why there's a bunch of oil down there as well. So we'll see if we can get this all back together, but it's unusual that 4 bolts came completely loose. This bolt was loose as well, wasn't it?
It was out. It was completely out.
This was
I found
out?
it just lying on top of that hole there.
Seriously?
Yeah.
If you've got a knife, I'll just cut that. Hopefully it goes over okay. We're gonna lose a bit of coolant in the process. There we go. Okay, we didn't lose much because it was only the stuff above this level here. See the hole there? And that's one problem done. That's gonna go there. Okay, let's try to do this without dropping that plate. Beautiful. Can't tension it with this nut unless this one is up. Yeah. I'm gonna go with about that. Jeanne, your oil looks okay, Jeanne.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's a 1/3 up from the bottom mark. Okay. Engine is up and running, and we just checked that the alternator was charging, and everything is perfect. So I'm happy for her. 80 years old, 4 times around the world, going for a 5th. So we're gonna leave tomorrow morning. We're gonna try sail to Beverage Reef, which is an atoll in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's not part of any country, I don't think. And it's submerged. It's underwater, so there's no land. So it'd be quite cool to go to an atoll that's completely sunken. So that's tomorrow morning. So it's our last day. So we've rented scooters, and we're gonna blast around the island. So we'll take you with us. Let's go. Who's got the pink one? That's the newest.
Oh.
Don, do you know how to ride?
Nice big scooter. Okay, this way, left. prank on Jamie. Oh shit, he just woke up. We were slowly moving all the motorbikes away from him while he's sleeping.
And then I shut my eyes in. I thought I'll probably fall asleep and they'll take off on me. Didn't think you'd push it down the road.
This world is not my home, I'm just a passing through. If heaven's not my home,
Wow. Unbelievable.
the angels beckon me from this dark and eerie door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Run away, I might just run away. I might just leave it all behind and find another day. Thought it through, good God, I thought it through, and there ain't nothing that I got I ain't willing to lose.
Absolutely stunning. We've just come back to the anchorage and another boat's coming. Big catamaran, and they've just, I don't know what's going on with this place, but the wind caught them and they ended up on top of Narada. So we pushed them off their anchor chain with our dinghy. Lucky we were coming in at the right time. But now they've ended up super close to everyone else. There's just not enough space in here for this many boats. Amazing place, amazing country. The people have been incredible, but this anchorage isn't big enough for this many boats. Okay, we're leaving to go to Beverage Reef. It's 450 miles, so hopefully we do it in about 3 days. But our friends over on JK are gonna try go out the channel. We know what happened last time, because if he gets stuck here again, the other two boats who are trying to leave, one of us is included, won't be able to go. If he can't get out now, I don't know how he's gonna get out. They're gonna have to dredge that whole section of the channel again. Let's go, fingers crossed. Okay, so we just spoke to the digger driver there. He's gonna show exactly where Luca needs to drive the boat.
So the authorities had gotten wind that there was a section of the channel which was definitely not the 3 meters as the harbour master was telling everyone. So they got the excavators in to dredge that exact spot. We were still super nervous though, because it hadn't only been on one place that there was a reef sticking up. So Luca was going to have to choose the perfect line to get out.
Okay, this is it. This is where he hit last time. He's already hit twice inside the harbour. Hope he can get through. The digger driver's putting his bucket where the deep spot is. Wow. Okay, he made it. He made it all the way out. He's stoked. So he's just gonna hang out there and wait for us. Narrator has gone out now, the solo female sailor. And now it's our turn. So let's get this done. Thanks, mate.
Well, what a crazy experience that was. The beauty of Polynesia is absolutely mind-blowing, but navigating these islands and atolls definitely presents its fair share of challenges. The narrow passes are always difficult, often having crazy currents ripping through them, and the charts for these places are hardly ever accurate. That's why we try to rely on eyeball navigation whenever we can, but in this particular situation, a little bit of misinformation about the depths could have cost Luca his boat. If you remember a few episodes ago, that's exactly what happened to my dad about a decade ago in the Tuamotu Islands. Anyway, once we were out of the channel, we jumped in and did a thorough check of Luca's keel, and luckily there was no damage. So we set sail for Beverage Reef, but we ended up getting smashed by bad weather and had to make yet another major change of plans.